Okay, hi, Donata here from The Good Canvas. We're going to spend the next few videos doing something a little bit different. We specialize in helping small business owners and creative entrepreneurs design their websites, primarily through the Wordpress platform, though we do work with other platforms as well, such as Squarespace, Wix, and Showit. But today's tutorial is going to be specific to some of the different techniques within WordPress to help you create a peaceful website and introduce some design elements that can help foster a sense of calm and trust for your visitors. Now, within the studio here, we've been talking a lot about trends and pressure. Things are changing faster than they ever have. And I feel like there is a lot of pressure on business owners to stay on top of everything, especially when it comes to your online presence. And I'm sure more than once we've all felt an immense amount of sort of peer pressure to do what everyone else is doing or what we believe everyone else is doing that's working. I think it's particularly true when it comes to online presence. We see everyone doing something and we're immediately inclined to think that it must be working. And then it all changes and we're all scrambling and that repeats itself. And that is quite exhausting, right? So instead, within the Good Canvas, we believe that we have a responsibility to be extremely tailored and intentional because we don't want to add to an already overstimulating place. We also believe that your website is really one of the greatest assets that you have in your business, and it should be built as such. But it can also be a place where you can rest your eyes and learn real things and convert. So a peaceful website sort of feels like stepping into like a really comfortable home. There's purpose and there's place for everything, and you know exactly sort of what is where and where to go to perform or to complete certain tasks. It's really quite the same for websites. So today we're going to talk a little bit about why this is important and then how to do it within the WordPress platform. So what are some of the benefits of keeping things simple and calm for your visitors? Number one, it will definitely help you convert and in turn rank higher in Google search and then connect with those visitors over and over again, right? So because you're delivering your message in a very clear and legible way, you're going to minimize your bounce rate and you're going to help visitors stay on your website for longer, which in turn will help your site rank higher. Second thing is you're steering clear of constantly changing trends and pressure to do the same thing as everyone else. And what that means is you're also steering clear of constant revisions and uncertainty and not feeling secure and confident in the website and the information that you're delivering. And that comes across, that will always come across as someone visits your site, especially one that is constantly changing or is inconsistent in how certain pages look versus others. Third thing, a clear and intuitive design will always make it easy for visitors to navigate your site. We're not talking about going completely, super basic here, but it needs to be easy to navigate your website. It needs to be easy to find information, and it needs to be easy to accomplish the goal that visitor is there to do, okay, without feeling overwhelmed by flashy things and tons of scrolling text and images, sort of pop-ups, all kinds of things sort of blaringly yelling at you. And then the last thing, we touched on this a little bit, but really to get your visitors there faster to the thing that they're looking for. So simplicity often means fewer elements, which can translate to faster loading speeds, which is a crucial factor in keeping users engaged and not like annoyed. And then also then in turn reducing your bounce rates. So we're going to hop over now to the WordPress platform. We're going to use the Good Canvas website as a demo for some of the ways that you can introduce some calm using some simple techniques that are within the editing platform. So the first effect, we're going to keep these really quick and short and show you exactly how to do them, are animations. So animations and the speed at which your animation is introduced onto your site really impacts the sort of overall vibe or the emotional impact that your website has on your visitor. You'll probably come across these sites where they have like really large, bold, oversized text that is fading in and out and panning and scrolling and doing all kinds of things. And while that's all really cool, and no shade to anyone who's doing that, it's not really the best way, I think, to utilize the attention of your visitor. And I think, and more importantly, how to like hone in on their attention to the thing that you want them to see. So some of our favorite animations are like fade-ins, and we put them on a slow speed so that the eye can really take them in and they can settle nicely on the site. So I'm going to take this example. This is my H1 heading on my homepage. So I'm going to click on this text and I'm going to head over to my editor section on the right. And under block, I've got an animation setting. And for my animation, I'm going to set it at fade in up. You'll see that that comes in at a default like medium speed. I like to use either slow or slower, in most cases slow, and set that in very quickly. You can save it and you will get, I'm just reloading it on the site. And as I scroll down into where that is, it settles in nicely, just like that on the site. The next topic to show you here is font type and sizes. And this really has to do with storytelling and building narrative around your site and deciding and having full control over what information you want your visitor to read first, and then progressively revealing more and more information to them as they move through the page. So most, actually all web design platforms come with inherent heading types and associated font sizes for those. So you want to be extremely meticulous about how and what you're using your headings for, not just for SEO, but also for how your visitor will absorb information, particularly text or copy. So in most cases, your visitor will read the larger font first and then move their way down to smaller and smaller, down to, body paragraph size font. So in the case of my website here, I've got 3 different text sizes. I have an H2 and H3, and then I've got my body text. So as much as we'd love to think that everyone will read everything, it's not the case. People will sort of scroll and skim over your site, and they'll take in the larger font, make a decision on whether they want to stay and read more or hop off. So the way that I like to think about this is if I have a cluster of text, I'm assuming they will probably read my H2. They maybe will read my H3, and there's a slight chance they'll read my body text. I'm hoping by this point they've been sort of guided in the right way where they want to read this, but there's really no guarantee, right? So you want to be meaningful and extremely intentional with what headings you're using and what you're saying within those headings, because that will dictate what the majority of people will be reading. The third thing I want to show you is how to be a little bit gentler with your pop-ups and your ads. Now, ads we're going to talk about in a separate video because it's quite an extensive topic and it can be a little bit controversial and also like really dependent on the business, the nature of your business. So we're going to focus this just on the pop-up. So I like to use Flowdesk, and I'll show you that in a second, but I'm going to take you to the good canvas so that you see what I'm talking about if this is something new for you. So we've got depending on where you live, we've got a number of requirements that we need to disclaim and have people approve or decline, particularly like the use of cookies and whatnot. So once we get past that, we're then going to be faced with another pop-up. Now, best practice is that you do have a pop-up on your website. Now, where the control comes in and where you can be a little bit gentler with this information is how quickly it pops up and for what user. So this is our pop-up for the Good Canvas. It's just text. We change this quite often. I would say every 2 to 3 months. Right now, it's just a very simple pop-up that asks for your name and your email, and then a link here which takes you to downloading some email templates in Flowdesk. So if you're entirely new to this thing, having something like this is a really great way to introduce people to your newsletter and to start converting some of these visitors into people that are reading emails from you, right? This is a really effective and great way to keep in touch with your community and continue building brand identity and brand trust. The issue with this is that some people can find it a little bit irritating. So the best way to do or to control this pop-up is to keep it on a bit of a delay. So I'm going to take you to Flowdesk and show you how to do that. And this pretty much apply to all email marketing platforms. But assuming you don't know, we're going to head over there now, and I'm going to show you how to create a delay and or a scroll delay for your pop-up. Okay, so I'm in my Flowdesk. I'm going to show you guys this new pop-up that I've recently created. I'm going to go into Edit, and within each pop-up form, you have the option to control a few things. So you can display this pop-up immediately, after 10 seconds, after 30 seconds, and then when visitor scrolls 30%. So I like to recommend either of these three after 10, 30, or 30% of a scroll. We believe that that gives visitors enough time to kind of make an informed decision on whether they even want to give you their email, especially if they're a first-time visitor. If your objective with that newsletter is to gain subscribers that are genuinely interested in what you're providing in your business, I think that time delay is a good sort of filter. Oftentimes, if you're offering like a freebie or whether it's a print or a downloadable guide or something that they can download quickly, if that appears quickly, they want it, they'll give you their email, and then they'll end up unsubscribing because they haven't had that chance to sort of decide on whether they want to hear from you on a regular basis. So I feel like either you'll gain them at the beginning and then you might lose them, or you might not. Or you create this delay and you create that filter earlier on, and then you'll have a lower unsubscribe rate in your newsletter. So I like to do 10 seconds, 30 seconds, or when visitor scrolls 30%. So if you do that, you'll be able to then embed that form into your header, and then that pop-up will appear on all pages of your website.